Plants are a great way to add instant impact into any size garden. I'm excited to share with you my guide to create a beautiful summer container. When selecting your pot from the garden centre, be sure to select one with a good sized drainage hole. I've got a terracotta pot here, so just be aware that if you're using terracotta, it's going to dry out faster than plastic. Go for the biggest pot that you can. This is going to retain a lot of moisture and it's going to allow you to really fill this pot, giving you maximum impact. What you don't want is a pot to become very waterlogged, so it's important that the water can drain through. Here I'm using a multi-purpose compost. This is going to provide enough nutrients for my plants for about 6 weeks. If you were planting, say, an azalea, you might want to use ericaceous compost. This is because it's an acid-loving plant, so it's really important to consider your plants when selecting them from the nursery. I want to create as much impact as possible in this pot. So when I'm selecting my plants, I'm looking for my thriller plant, my spiller plants, and my filler plants. My thriller is going to be my main impactful plant. This might have a bit of height and lots of impact. Here I've got this cordyline, which has lots of structure and a striking foliage. My spillers are usually trailing and will soften the edges of the pot. Here I'm using Muehlenbeckia. And my fillers, I'm going to cram these into all the nooks and crannies. I'm going to select something that has lots of colour to really lift this pot and make it as impactful as it can be. When planting your container, make sure that the top of the root ball is below the lip of the pot. This is to ensure that when you water, it doesn't make a big mess everywhere. But also don't plant your plants too deeply, as this can swamp them. Starting with this cordyline, my tallest plant first, I'm going to position this at the back of the pot. And then beneath this, surround this with a mixture of foliage plants and flowers as my fillers. Then moving on to my trailing plants like this Muehlenbeckia, I'm going to place these at the front, and this is going to soften the edges of my container. Inspect your plant when you get it back from the garden centre. Remove it from its pot, and if the roots seem a little bit root bound, just gently tease the roots, and this will help your plant get established in its final container. Once you've positioned your plants, use some additional compost to fill in any gaps and firm in gently. Now that your pot is planted up, it's important to water really thoroughly. This is to ensure that your plants don't dry out. You can check how much water your plants need by checking the soil. Just place your finger just beneath the surface, and if it feels damp, then that's what you want. If it feels dry, go ahead and water well. Don't forget that if your container is positioned in a sunny spot, it's going to dry out faster.